Hello Likers, welcome back to our channel. It's me, your fave, your one and only, your baby girl, Malaika. So Likers, we are doing a critical review of Mr. Aloy series where marriage becomes a nightmare, episode 53, part 1. It starts with Jetta, eating fruits in the bedroom, and while Jonathan walks in, to go to have a chat with her. Sorry, I'm doing it this late because of the weather. I needed to wait for the rain to cease. So Jonathan just came back from, Kenny, in as much as he behaves sometimes as though he does not listen to Kenny, but he does, because Kenny told him to try to see how he can, know how their business is going. So Jonathan came, wanting to know, to have a conversation with his woman to understand like how is their business doing and all the rest. But Jetta, to Jonathan's greatest surprise, Jetta didn't know what Jonathan was talking about. Because to Jetta was like, Jonathan does not have any money for them to start a business. So what money is Jonathan talking about? And Jonathan was quick to remind Jetta of the house, the mortgage, and of the house and the land that the mortgage he gave her, the papers and everything. But Jetta ignored him and behaved as if he was blabbing, like he was speaking Spanish or French, a language that she didn't understand. To her it was more like he's speaking gibberish. So because to Jetta it's more like you can barely feed yourself. I've been feeding you and your family. So what money are you talking about? Like, as they say, you should not rejoice on people's pain. But I'm happy that stuff like this happened to Jonathan. Yes, because I think it will put some sense into his head. So Jetta just made it clear to him that I don't know what you're talking about. Because to her, she made Jonathan to understand she has been feeding Jonathan. If Jonathan had money, how come she was the one feeding him? And now Jonathan wants to talk what business can they eventually do? They don't have any business, they're not doing any business. Jonathan should just look for a place and sit, or more so just drink hot water and sit. But Jonathan was not going to take that lying down peacefully, and Jetta either. She's from them streets. Yes. So she's going to, from time to time, the street version of her is going to come up. So Jonathan definitely wanted to fight back, but Jetta was ready for him. Jetta pulled out the knife that she was going to eat the fruit with, and made him to understand that, guy, if you try this again, you're not going to like me. Yes, because at this point she's ready. Money is already in her account. She has sold the house, she has sold the land. It's already inside her account. And like, she's not willing to let anybody. Now she has taken the money and she has double crossed her partners, her business partners. Now she's ready to double cross anyone. So the next scene shows Emeka and Debbie, that because they've been trying to reach out to Jetta, but Jetta is not picking her call. So Emeka is trying to find out if Jetta is picking Debbie's call, but Debbie is like, guy, that girl is not picking my call. So it's obvious that she has double crossed us. It's very, like, it shows. And to Emeka, he has been doing this business for so long. He cannot sit. This is a business that he started. He cannot sit and watch Jetta take it away from them. He cannot sit and watch Jetta, succeed in this. Nah, it's not happening. So to Emeka, it was more like, Jetta cannot get away with this. If Jetta wants to get away with it, then she's mad. So the next thing shows Jetta, who is coming from upstairs. Her phone is still ringing. They are sending messages. That was Emeka and Debbie. She just got pissed and just threw her phone on the couch, because when you're tired, instead of putting it on silence, she just threw it and walked away. You are in this illegal business, you're dropping phone anyhow. And that's Jonathan that's coming downstairs. He's angry, cannot believe what Jetta did right now. Only for him to stumble upon Jetta's phone ringing. Guess who is calling? Debbie. It's normal for Jonathan to wonder, like, because Jonathan didn't know that Jetta and Debbie knew each other. Jonathan is wondering now, how come Debbie is calling Jetta? How do they know each other? So Jonathan decided to pick the call, only for him to hear what he was not supposed to hear. Debbie is asking why is Jetta not picking her calls. That Emeka and her, they are waiting. and like she was speaking alone. Then Jonathan hung up, decided to listen to a voice note that came in, and Jonathan was shocked alive to find out that they were talking about the property, the land, the house, that they suspect that Jetta have sold it instead of sharing the money with her, and she wants to run away. Jonathan discovered a lot of things, that Jetta is behind so much with Emeka and Debbie. Jetta all along has been working with Emeka and Debbie, and they planted her there. So the next scene shows Jetta that has decided to run away because she's being harassed. She chose she saw the opportunity that Jonathan left the house. She decided to run away. So she packed her. I don't know why you have such money and you still be looking for things. You don't even need to go with your car. You just call an Uber because your car could be traced. Honestly speaking, but unfortunately for her, her partners were lurking around. Yes, apparently they are packed and were waiting for her. you know so when she came out, they were there already. So they were surprised. It was more like surprise, are you going somewhere? you know a gun was being pointed at her, and she was like, what the hell? So this is a thing about double crossing people. You cannot be, when you the worst thing, it will be better for you to steal from somebody, but don't double cross the people that you're stealing with. Honestly speaking, I'm not encouraging thieves, steal people I don't want to encourage thieves, but those are the rules. Those are the street rules. So at this point, Jetta is stuck. She cannot say anything, and Debbie decided to pull the trigger. Yes, because to her, she would rather waste her, let everybody lose for betraying her, because Debbie brought her into the business. So for betraying them, they prefer to lose anyway. Because already Jetta has spoiled everything for them. So what's the essence of keeping her around? Like, at this point, they were not even ready to share the money. They just wanted to waste her, and they wasted her just like that, because she was greedy. But unfortunately for them, when Jonathan left the house, he went straight to the police. He went to meet a Kenny. Then they went to the police station. So by the time they got into the car to leave, Jonathan was there. Kenny was there with two police, to arrest, because they were coming to arrest Jetta. Unfortunately, fortunately for them, and unfortunately for Emeka and Debbie, they stumbled upon them. So they had to get them out of the car. And Jonathan was shocked alive. She was shocked alive, to find out that Emeka and Debbie have been conniving. And this is something that Kenny has been telling Jonathan, but Jonathan never wanted to listen. Jonathan was stuck on the idea that Emeka is his best friend, and he didn't want to listen to anything that Kenny had to say. To him, Kenny was just trying to cause problems between him and his friend Emeka, not knowing that Kenny was actually helping him. So Emeka was really disappointed, but unfortunately, Jonathan was disappointed, but unfortunately, that is life for you. You have to be very careful of the people you surround yourself with. And so Emeka and Debbie were both arrested. They were taken under police custody, and Jonathan could still not believe his eyes that Emeka has been the bad person in his life all along. Something that Kenny told him. So the next thing shows Emeka, inside the interrogation room. They have beaten him to stupor, and Jonathan was shocked to hear what the police had to say, and to see that Emeka all along has been behind his misfortune. Going from the very beginning, the business that he invested in, the business where he took money from Clara. He took money from, invested in the business. He got duped. It was all Emeka. Even his car business, the one that they took his car, it was Emeka. The house, the land, he could not believe his eyes. He was looking for closure. You could see in his eyes that he wanted closure. He wanted to understand the reason why Emeka, of all people, somebody that he trusts with his life, could do this to him. And the funniest thing, to crown it, Emeka was not remorseful. Emeka made him to understand. It was very simple. You did this to yourself. You did this. You let my mother buy. I came to you. I wanted 300K. you know, but you prefer to bury my mother with 3 million naira. Yes, you prefer to bury my mother. So that was the day I took that decision. So Emeka told him straight that the day he decided that he was going to end him, you know, was the day. And to Emeka, it was more like he wasn't remorseful. He didn't care if he went to jail. It was none of his business. You know, he did what he wanted to do. You understand? Like what was important to him was to make sure that Jonathan falls. You know, Jonathan was feeling bad because he regretted the fact that he lost his woman, the only woman who loved him. He lost everything because of Emeka. You know, Emeka fooled him, lied to him, and everything. And today, Emeka was behind everything. So Emeka didn't care. So Emeka, he found satisfaction in destroying Jonathan, because to him, you know, nothing could replace his mother, which is true. Nothing could bring back his mother, which is true as well. But seeing Jonathan suffer like this, being alive and losing everything, he's happy. You know, that's where he finds satisfaction, because to him, Jonathan deserved every bit of everything, that every pain that he was causing him. And Emeka was laughing. So the next scene shows Jonathan and Benny that was sitting outside, you know, taking fresh air with stress. And the barrister of the new owner of the house walks in. You know, Emeka was there, Jonathan was there crying. He has grown beards, you know, he's no more the sexy big Joe, you know. They were crying, he was crying. So the barrister walks in, and you know, Jonathan wanted to know who he was, because he was looking for Jetta. And Jonathan told him Jetta is not here, and he said they are here to ask them to pack out because the owner of the house is around. You know, he needs to take over, you know, and all the rest. That if there's anything that they can do, if there's anything. So Jonathan, this is his house. He didn't sell the house to anyone, but Jonathan needs to understand that he gave those papers to Jetta. Jetta sold the house. It was legal to them. You know, they had no idea. They bought the house with all the documents and everything. You know, they were there to see the house and all the rest. You know, so they don't care. Jonathan and his family and his daughter have just 24 hours to vacate the premises. If not, they'll be thrown out. And there's nothing they can do because it is legal. You know, they were not fake papers. They were real papers. And Jonathan now, you know, he's trying to take his frustration on the lawyer, but that would be the wrongest move, because taking your frustration on the lawyer will end you with a lawsuit. Yes, you end the lawsuit for doing that. You know, and this lawyer was not playing. He was very serious. And that was when Debbie realized that honestly she has lost everything, and this child never wanted to give those documents. Jonathan held this child down and collected that document, and here we are. And now he's crying, calling God for help, asking for help, whereas all along God was using your child to speak to you. God was using Kenny to speak to you. God used people to speak to you, even Clara, to tell you that Emeka will be your downfall. You didn't listen, you know. And now you're calling God. What do you want God to do? The honest truth is that, like, as God always speaks to us through people, but we choose not to listen. So the next thing shows Debbie with her dad, you know, wondering what they are going to do. Where are they going from here? What is going to happen? You know, what is going to happen? How are they going to do this? Because they like now, how far? You know, she's a child. She's 16. That was the only thing her mother left. Her mother is in Canada. What must they do? And the stupid father does not know what to do. He's confused. He's an adult, but he doesn't know what to do. Because right now, even Kenny, who could help, Kenny could be of assistance, but Kenny is not in town. Kenny traveled for work, you know. And his phone is not even going through. Now, what is he going to do with a 16-year-old child? No land, no house, no money, no nothing. Jetta is no more. There is nothing, you know. And now he even wants idea from his daughter. And when Benny suggests that they should sell the things in the house, since I've bought the house, not knowing that they bought the house with everything inside. Jetta sold everything. That's how wicked she was. Like us, we are going to end this video. Honestly speaking, like us, what I'll tell people is that if people do not take care of people that surrounds them, that is how they are going to fall inside traps. Because the easiest person to buy you is the person closest to you. That's the honest truth. The easiest person to buy you, I'm telling you people the truth, is the person closest to you. Yes, the person closest to you is the easiest person to buy you. So that is it. People should be careful. So like us, we are going to end this video. Happy new month. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for your support. And like I said, I'm no more doing reviews after this series is over. On this note, I have to say